Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and now I am going to find out whether or not we can make this pattern actually work. So, um, my confidence in this one is actually really, really high. So, I don't think we're gonna do the whole huge safety measures and whatever. We still, okay, so we only need to do like the top quarter of this thing, and then we can copy for the whole rest of it. Um, and I think for the most part, we can just pick an area, do what we need to do, um, before moving on. I think it'll make things go faster and uh, yeah, that's kind of our thing for today. Let's not make this an hour and a half. Yep, this one has to be brown. So yeah, lots of painting to do here today. Like I said, I really think this one is no trouble, honestly. Um, could be wrong. Do, 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 do. This one's obviously brown. Some kind of, I don't have a plan for what colors this uses. So it might all change up dramatically. I might go ahead and um, work out the new colors, like maybe change this whole thing before I put it on the web page. And then again, it might be after. I don't know. It depends. Mandy and I have to sit down and work out how many strings are needed. And because we kind of like know how many we need to be able to actually get the discounted price. And I don't know if I have to still make more patterns or not, to be honest. Um, we need to kind of go over all the patterns that I've already done and then kind of see where we are and kind of go from there. Because honestly, at this moment, I have no idea um, if we have enough or not. Because if we do, great. If we don't, I need to come up with another pattern. And at the moment, I'm back at that point of where I have no idea. Um, I was just like that a couple nights ago, and then look what happened. I ended up with this. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's the pressure that helps motivate me, or I don't know. I know that the numbers being so close, that got me. That really straight up that got me when I heard that the 60 what was it? 46. 46 from 70 was 24. I knew I had to try putting like two patterns that, I've already played with together. That's just funny. I bet you this is an orange coming this way. And this is an orange. Got a little confused there for a second, but I got it. And then we get some browns. Yeah, I was unsure before with the other pattern whether or not everything was going to jive. But yeah, and I could lie to you guys. I could be like, oh, the suspense is on, will this work? But honestly, that's not what I'm feeling. And I don't need to generate drama for no reason. In fact, um, being confident feels kind of nice for a change. So yeah, there we go. So again, I have to do as confident as I am still checking to make sure that like that can be an orange because there's still a string to go through there. If there was already a brown coming through, um, checking to make sure that there's not going to be some kind of a problem with these things. Um, Trying to look far enough ahead and see like, yep, this is going in the right direction, doing what it's supposed to do, bouncing and still continuing on. That's fine. So yeah, it's that part is always that's a constant. So like this has got whoops pinks coming from both directions. That's fine. The brown will still be able to work out over here. It's kind of funny to me like how kind of quickly we're sort of just jumped into this and how it seems to be working out. Like I'm leaving gaps all over the place, which is not the way I like to do this. Um, like I left this whole string over here out. I can get it put in. It seems, I guess it's, I guess all the colors sort of balance out, but it seems like there's just like so much more of the brown, but that's because it's trading off between all these colors. So yeah, it's like if we get these out of the way, um, it leaves us very little of the other stuff, which is good. Wow. So the oranges are staying over here to the left. And then we've got the pink color, which is representing our silver. I mean, I guess I could have done a gray. I sort of was picking out a gray when I first tried it. And it was leaning a little bit over on the red side and just kind of embraced it. But yep, this is going together very, very well. And see, we're just kind of picking up any loose ends and following them along. I feel like we should do some more over on this side. I'm kind of just jumping all over the place. I know it seems a little bit weird. That's okay. We're still on track-ish. I can see I missed an orange over here. And it's bothering me, so I'll go get it. Mr. Brown right there, too. So the nice thing about this pattern is that most of these lines just kind of keep going in a straight row. However, because they run across their own colors all the time, except for maybe the red one, you would be able to change up if one is getting used a whole lot more than another. Of course, because I will have to replace some strings, I'll probably just replace the shorter ones and just do it that way. But most of the time, you can do whichever knot you want to. Like when these two cross, it doesn't matter which direction it goes in. And so there's going to be some advantages to that in the segments that you're working on. Won't necessarily hinder you. I don't know if that makes sense. Like sometimes you need to have like a direction or whatever done. Here it's just gonna be a whole lot easier. Like you'll be able to do this diamond and then how you get around to the outside of it. It's just easier. Mind you, this is a pretty big pattern. So this is still going to be a difficult build. But it's nice that there are portions of it that kind of lend to being easy. It's the little spirals and stuff I think are gonna make a little bit of it tricky. As well as like this whole area in the gold strings, like it's just doing so much. There's like just so much going on. So that might be a thing. But at the end of the day, this one's just going to be really a very, very beautiful bag. So I definitely invite you to go ahead and try putting this together. I don't have what the string counts will be or anything clever like that yet. That's something, like I said, I still have to do for myself. figure out how many skeins will be necessary and work all that stuff out. And hopefully I get it right, because if I get it wrong and I run out of string, that means I'd have to put in another order, and the whole point of this was to put in a big enough order to get a discount. So yeah, you know, a little bit of pressure there. Let's do some golds. Oops, went too far. I was supposed to. I'm like, that can't be right. It can't come down into here. No, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm pretty worn out. It's been a lot of designing, a lot of creating going on here, and I am just creatively spent. I think last night I slept exceptionally well. Um, Again, just because, just pouring out of creativity, just coming up with so much and working it out, and all the focus on this stuff just drained me. And yeah, probably another good night again tonight. Yeah, so doing this way has a benefit of just staying to an area and um, getting more accomplished. However, I can't really tell like how far we've gotten. I can't tell if there's lots of progress or if we're like barely into this. Doesn't help that I don't know how many of these things there are. Normally for this, we would start with the easiest, right? Because then everything else is easier. But for the most part, um, most of this isn't too terrible. And that could come down to the fact that I have done this sort of pattern so many different ways already. We've made bracelets, we've made small bags, we've done all kinds of things with this design. So that might be why I'm a little bit more confident with this. Plus, this pattern is really close to the original, with the exception that we kind of put a mirror to it, which, well, let's admit it, that right there just changed absolutely everything. Um, I think that's what kind of has me most excited about this one, is it's familiar yet really, really different. So this is based on the string that I buy to fit a bag. But if you watched yesterday's video, um, we cut about 4 strings out of it. Now, mind you, we were basing this all on the largest of the phones out there. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a Samsung and Apple something. Um, we based the measurements off the largest ones possible, and then added some to make sure that there was room for the case. Um, Having dropped off 4 strands does make it just a bit smaller. I don't think I don't think that'd be a problem for most phones, but it might be a problem for some of the biggest ones. So it is what it is. I had to make an executive decision, and I went with it. Um, I I'm trying to think if there a way could I have done it this differently and made it just a smidge bigger? I think so. I think if you watch yesterday's video and how I was doing it and how I got it to the other side, uh, I think I did it the only real smart way. Now the alternative thing, I mean, if I wanted to go with a super huge bag, um, I could have made it wider, so we added in the red diamonds past the pink little what do we call these things? Little S-shaped things. So yeah, we could have gone way bigger. Um, wasn't really where I wanted to take this. I mean, well, I mean, that would be a cool look. And I would not be opposed to making a much larger bag. We'll see if Mandy wants one. Because I think that would be a cool look. A lot of work. Whole heck of a lot of work. But that would be neat. Not sure. Not sure how many strings it would be. I would have to figure that out before she would agree to it, because she has a bag that I made for her that she claims is just too big and bulky to carry. And I would hate to make the thing only to have her be like, no, it's too big. I'm not carrying it. It'll sit in the closet, because that breaks my heart. That's do 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 do. So yeah, still checking every one of these things to make sure that this is right. So far, so good. Yeah, so it's kind of about looking for the loose ends. It's about looking for where something starts or where something's going. Also, for me, it's about finding those little spots where I missed something, because that's just irritating. Got a bunch of pink over here to do, I know. So, yeah, I really kind of hope that I'm not the only one trying to make these things. I really honestly hope that I'm inspiring somebody out there to give this a try and that you'll share your results with me. Um, be cool if you try it with some really fun, crazy kind of colors. Okay. I don't like how the red went in that one square. Like, that's so weird. I don't know why that one's different from the rest, but that's annoying. Let's see how far. We still have a little ways, but we're getting closer to the line where we can move to the stuff that's to the left of this. Because we only have to make it down to the one line, and then the whole bottom part just flips from it. So that's a plus. I still have yet to get the rest thing. I don't know what you call them. The little gel thing that you put your wrist on. So, really kind of need to pick one of those up. So I haven't figured out, like, is there like a real smart way of doing this? Maybe it's going up and down a row so that way you're kind of like taking the least amount of movement before the next click. I don't know. Kind of feel like the smart way of doing this is to just do it in a way that can assure that you are paying attention, that nothing is broken. So there's another one of those. See how that just looks really bizarre? We can try to paint the hell out of it, but it's just, that's really weird. It was like the whole inner part of this thing was deformed. So weird. Don't want to zoom out too far. It makes it hard to hit the little targets. I think we did zoom out. Something's weird because I got way more space over there now. So on the original, the colors that are inside of the swirls inside here are actually different from the rest of the background. But then when they, it's like where they connect, um, you can see that there's this huge distinct difference. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but I don't like it. Um, I just don't care for it. For me, if you wanted to have those colors be different, then maybe the color that runs just outside of this little S stuff, that should have been different too. I don't know. I know that by not messing with it and leaving the whole background to be one color, um, makes the whole pattern just that much easier. Like, um, let's face it, we have to like watch what we're doing with the red because the red um, plays different from the pink. If those were just one color, that would be easier. It's that kind of a difference is kind of what I'm talking about here. Um, Mind you, there are times where you want to do something where adding a color or tweaking with a color makes sense because it's a means to an end. And yeah, then I mean, that's why we have the red there. Is I, wanted another color in this. I didn't want it to just be the brown and silver and gold. That's sort of not great. But yeah, I mean, it really comes down to what you want. If you wanted, um, you could take some inspiration from the diamond and rainbows and see if you couldn't um, make colorful segments coming down this where either the background color or these other things were changing colors as it went along. Um, it's definitely a possible thing that could happen. Um, it would just take a whole lot of trying to work it out here with the graph paper to make sure that everything played well with each other. Um, but yeah, that would be a super, super advanced project that, yeah, I definitely, if you are a super advanced bracelet maker and you're just not sure what to work on next, and you really want to flex as to how awesome a designer and creator you are, that could be the one to build right there. Because yeah, that's a project I don't want to tackle anytime soon. I don't know if you guys noticed, we have hit our center line. Well, middle of the, so we have the top area, which is the flap that goes over the top. And then we have, this is the bulk of the bag. And that's all we have to do is to get down to there um, for our copying stuff, right? So we need, where are we in, ooh, oh, there's still lots to do. There's still lots. All right. Yeah, so like the other ones, this is pretty much every other one changes. Um, so nothing of a surprise there. Kind of saw that coming. Mm. So I was slightly curious, but then I realized that that has to be the gold. So this has got like a 16 string kumi loop that becomes the strap for it. Um, and again, that kind of works out because of the way that we double up our floss. So it makes a nice, strong kind of rope to it, which I am very glad that my wife likes to make because I don't know. I think it's like kumis are almost like too repetitive for me. Like it's just it's like working in a factory. There's no you don't have to think about what you're doing, which for some people love that, you know, the relaxed kind of endless just do the thing and you know. But for me, um I like the excitement of, you know, what comes next and am I doing it right and that kind of stuff. Like there's a certain element that having to keep the focus on things like this does not feel at all um, like I'm just coloring stuff in. I am um, looking at each one of these and making sure that, you know, the string coming along this path makes sense, that there's no, you know, place where a color couldn't exist or something's wrong. Plus, I think there's a little bit of an element in my head here of wanting to try to find the fastest way to do it, which I am I'm sure I'm not doing the fastest way. Like it like this, I just went around in a circle. Like that can't be right. That can't be the quickest, but there's like so many loose ends all over the place and I'm trying really hard to make sure that I'm getting it all. We can't. I kind of wanted to try to get all the way over here. Um, we can't quite do that without moving it all around. Do, 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 do. Yeah, that's around too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so that's the gold coming off the side there. La, 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 la. That looks right. It's 1, 2, 1, 2. Out of curiosity, how many are up here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So that seems right. There were 4 pinks to make up the row of this, and there's already 4 over here. So I assume that means that was the correct number, which would mean that this one here is orange and that it goes this way. And that this was an orange and it goes this way. And it's going to be a little bit dicey over here because we're not filling in all the rest of it to see what was going on. We have so much stuff that was coming in from the other side. There's just so much to fill in. It's like wherever I look, it's like, oh, yep, yep, that's a row. Oh, yeah, just follow this all the way down. There's a row just above this. Follow it back up. But I mean, you've seen why this is all necessary. You've seen the pattern come apart and not work, and the trouble that that creates. So we don't need that kind of trouble around here. I'm just like getting further and further and further ahead. Like, That's a brown going that way. This is orange going this way. That's orange that way. I'm kind of wondering, will I put together a bigger version of this pattern when it comes time to actually making the bag? Because, you know, I kind of maybe I could attach the flat side over here to it, right? So that way I can see all of the what's going on kind of thing, as opposed to having two separate pieces. I don't know. Did I mention I'm going to be doing this on a live stream? That's the plan. That's why I have to get these, oops, the strings and stuff counted here soon so we can get the orders in. So that way we can make that a reality. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I committed to the whole doing a video every day thing. That seems a little bit crazy at this point. But leaving these for the weekend definitely makes sense to me because these kind of bigger projects and stuff are kind of nice to get into. It might be a little hard to like set it down for a while and then come back to it. That might, we'll see if that's an issue. But I kind of like the idea of a project where if I want to work 3-4 hours, I can do it. Obviously the work is there to be done. Because there was a couple times where, you know, this doing a smaller bracelet, it was like, oh, well, that's all over with. We've made our 2 bracelets. We're done for the night. That's it. This can definitely carry on. Or if it starts to make me insane, we can set it aside, come back at it, you know, when we're feeling a little bit more refreshed. So it's perfect. It's just so much going on here. Oops. So I have no idea how long this video is taking, but it feels like quite a while. It feels like a long one. We'll see. Kind of running ahead with this just because I can kind of see what the how it's supposed to go. And yeah, if I can make this easier on myself, then why not? And it's like it's at these moments where like I'm scrolling down and I still haven't hit the line yet, that it sort of really hits home that this is really such a big bag. Um, it just is. It really is. Yeah, since I've been working on these bigger ones, um, and recording like the whole thing, I don't get to actually watch, you know, any YouTube or anything while I'm working. I'm wondering what I'm missing out on, if any of my favorite creators are busy making content that I would be enjoying. Mind you, I think these are really kind of like a first for me in the sense of um, opening up and showing me working on something that I'm not, you know, super confident about. Like I was pretty sure going into this one this was going to work out fine, and it seems to be that way. But it's still a pretty big project. It still has plenty of room for there to be things wrong with it or whatever. And typically, when it came to making these kind of things, I made them on my own and would later share what I made. And yeah, there wasn't there wasn't the whole. I feel like this is sort of like behind the curtain, like what goes on when to actually make something like this. Because yeah, this isn't. I don't know how to describe it. It's there's so much going on. There's so much could go wrong. Um, and typically I like, just to play a little music and just see where it goes. And if it turns out great, share it. If it doesn't turn out, scrap it. Didn't matter. Um, but this feels completely different to me. This feels like um, that I brought you guys along for the ride. And I need to make sure I make it work because you guys are counting on me. So I'm making it work. It's all coming out pretty good. All the colors are lining up. Again, I mean, I kind of reused a lot of elements that we knew worked. Um, the big question was trying because there was like a row that is extra, in the original project. And I was concerned that that extra row was going to throw off the counts on all of this. And then when we started to put it together, I eliminated that row. Like that was a thing. Like I don't know if you guys saw that in yesterday's. That was how this area over here got shifted over by one. And that's why I could be so confident that this was all going to work out, was the um, having eliminated that row meant a lot. Like seriously, that was, and I didn't know if we could stretch it out one extra going the other way, which would have been good, making the bag just a little bit bigger. But the pattern, the way it was mirroring off of itself, like to have tried to make it a little bit bigger, I think, I don't think it would have been as nice. I think the way that the way we did it gave us the pattern. Oh, maybe we could have a couple extra rows. It's just the shape in here, though. I really like how that turned out. I really think that's something else. And had we done it any other way, it wouldn't be the same. So. So I'm wondering, like everybody's in in America are like going back to school this time of year. I wonder if anybody's taking a project like this with them. Is there something to do? Oops. And I have put in so many clicks. I wonder, like, there's no way I'm counting it. I'm wondering, like, how many clicks there is in doing something like this. It's a lot. Kind of wondering, we should be getting close to that center line thing again, right? There it is. that's that's reassuring. I still have to go back and do a whole lot of the pinks and whatever else. I was just trying to nail out a bunch of the whole brown ones first. Still a ways to go. And if you're still here, thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Helps the channel out immensely. Do. This one. All right, let's concentrate on the pinks for a minute. Then we'll come back and do the orange. So I don't know when you guys are watching these, if you see like where I miss a spot and if you are like getting angry looking at the screen, like, no, no, you missed the one right over there. Um, because, and I say this because when I'm editing and I see it, I get so frustrated with myself. Like seriously, mad. Like, oh, when do I go back and get that? Did I get that one? Oh no, And until I actually get the spot, then then I kind of relax again. And it happens all the time. I'm well aware that it happens. I definitely don't have a like when I'm actually making these things, like I find um a way to work it out that makes the most sense, that gives me like an advantage for being efficient. And for some odd reason, I don't have that when it comes to coloring it in like this. I just don't. So I see a couple browns over there that I'm going to do before I get any further. That one and that one, because those will make me insane. And then let's see. We're missing we're missing a bunch of stuff up here, aren't we? That bounce up, that bounce up, that bounce up, that bounces off, that. No, we're right. That's wrong. Those are wrong. Kind of got out of its little area where it's supposed to stay within. It only goes out this far. I suppose because the oranges run here, these could all be orange knots as opposed to the pink ones. But I suppose it makes sense that it's pink. Um, just the way that it's boxed in by the whole brown over here. Oops, that ain't right. Two browns in has to have two browns out. Like I said, I'm always looking for it. It's a thing. Ah, we don't have a whole lot left. I'm definitely confused about what makes sense to do first. It's kind of one of those what you see that you need, what's sticking out at you, kind of makes sense to kind of go at those first, right? Like some of these brown ones were um super like I don't know, like they needed to be done. Like some of these, I know I have to do it, but those had to get out of the way so the rest of it would sort of make more sense and look right. Yeah, I don't know how, like, okay, so in the past, if a pattern was just too much, I would keep the pattern open in GIMP and sort of cross off areas that I accomplished. Um, I don't have to do that with a lot of patterns, but there are certain ones that just, for whatever reason, um, give me more trouble looking at it than others. And I have to say, looking at this mess here, it kind of feels like that might be what I have to do with this one. Not that I want to, because that takes more time. It's more whatever, and it's certainly going to slow things down during a live stream if I'm having to um, click off, because what I'll do is I'll use like the pencil tool and sort of put a line through it or put dots through different areas or whatever. Just mark off what's been done. Um, is this one so hard that I'd have to do that? I don't know. 'Cause there's just so much going on. By then, I will have done a couple versions of this smaller, so maybe I will have um, kind of gotten used to the this thing, and that it won't be as big of a problem. I don't know. Because like as you're looking at this area right here, are you seeing the pattern really clearly, or are you just seeing lots of colors changing? Oops. Because if you're just seeing a lot of colors changing like I am, um, yeah, that turns into problems trying to see where you're going or where you've already done when you're making it. At this point, there's almost something kind of fun to this. It's kind of like when you're getting towards the end of a Sudoku puzzle and um, it's easier to find what number goes in the slot because everything else around it pretty much helps lead to the answer. It's a bit of like what I'm feeling right now. Okay. There's like little blue ones in all directions. I need to do them all, and just obviously there's no. I'm just sporadically going through and clicking. I see a spot and be like, nope, that needs it, that needs it, that needs it. They're so everywhere. But this is our line. If we didn't miss anything, this will be it. I don't see any blues in there. We did it. All right. Now it's this tool. Control C, Control V. Flip it horizontally. Just need to click on the lines. There we go. Wow. And then we need this one again. Control C, Control V. This time we flip vertically. Oops, wrong tool. And we're just off a couple. Wow. Yep. The whole thing is done. There we go. Mind you, I still will cut off the top part up here to make the front side of it. But that's our pattern, guys. Thank you for sticking around this long. That has been a doozy. Thank you to my Patreon supporters who make all this stuff possible. If you haven't already, please hit a like. Yeah, I mean, you've stuck around this long. You should hit like and subscribe, maybe. I will be back with more patterns, and I don't know if they'll be bags. I don't know what it'll be yet, but it'll be something cool. So, yeah, as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.